Just imagine yourself driving through a drive-through at a fast food restaurant, and you go, "Hello, I would like to have a cheeseburger, please." Imagine if the person who was taking your order said to you, "Oh, I think you need to have a fish burger." "Oh no, can I have a cheeseburger, please?" "No, you can't have a cheeseburger. You will have a fish burger." So he was going on, "I want yogurt, I want yogurt, I want yogurt." And in that situation, imagine I told him, "Liam, you do not need a yogurt now. What you need to is to eat rice." Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Experimental Parent with me, Jasmine Jialing. This week we are going to be talking about managing tantrums and anger. So this topic was something that I was very concerned about because I noticed that my older son is a very expressive child, but often he also has a lot of anger and he gets triggered quite easily. Anger is also no stranger to me, I think, because I think I can be quite short-fused sometimes. So I became very interested in the topic of anger management, both for myself and for my child, and also how in situations where our children throw a tantrum, the emotions tend to get very high there. So how do we all help to regulate ourselves and co-regulate with our children when there's a lot of anger in all these tantrum situations? So Aristotle, the famous Greek philosopher, says it very well. He says, anybody can get angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person and to the right degree and at the right time and with the right purpose and in the right way, that is not always easy to do. So that says it all very well. Anger is not something that we can always control because when we are angry, it's an involuntary emotion that we feel when something triggers us. So when we tell a child, stop it, calm yourself down, don't be angry, that is as good as telling somebody or anybody to say, you're not allowed to feel hungry, you cannot be hungry. So I think when it comes to our children feeling anger or they're feeling angry as a result of something, it's not a willful act. So there isn't a need to penalize them feeling anger. Rather, we need to help them to regulate their emotions so that they know what to do with this anger. Otherwise, they will just do what their amygdala tells them, and that is to explode. So some children will explode, they fight, and some children will flee. So that is just a fight, flight, or freeze response that will come involuntarily with the feeling of that emotion. The other thing that I think doesn't really help when our children are feeling angry is that you shouldn't be like that. You cannot be angry if mommy takes your toy away, because now it's bedtime. So telling your child that, it's again in adult context, telling my husband, oh, I need to confiscate your car. You cannot drive to work today. But you cannot be angry with that, So it doesn't quite make sense, right? How they feel is up to them to feel it. Also, remember I talked about this in one of my earlier episodes. In children, the prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed until they reach the age of 25, 26 or so. So they are developmentally not able to use logical response to cope with their anger. More likely than not, they will let the amygdala control it. So we can't just assume that children are able to calm themselves down the same way adults are able to. Even adults sometimes don't have that ability because we haven't practiced and honed our regulation methods. We haven't learned enough about our emotions and our stresses, our patterns to know how to deal with them. We also don't want to encourage our children to suppress their anger, because the more you try to suppress it, the more you're not able to learn how to deal with it. And imagine they're going to go into adulthood not having the ability and the tools to regulate themselves, and somewhere down the road they are going to implode from all that pent-up emotions that they were not allowed or they didn't know how to express and deal with properly. So initially when my child started to enter the terrible twos, almost like right on schedule at 20 months old, he started to go hysterical, have a meltdown every other day. That was when I realized, okay, I really need help, because initially when it happened, I would yell back at him, right? Because when our children make these kind of very unpleasant sounds like whining, screaming, shouting, biologically, mothers tend to feel very uncomfortable with it, right? It's a biological response, and the threshold to withstand this kind of sounds, or the kind of reactions and the kind of feelings a mother feels from it differs from mother to mother. So my personal threshold for this kind of sounds was pretty low. So when he screamed and whined initially, it was very unbearable for me also, and it starts to also trigger an amygdala response in my body. I would start to go into a fight mode as well, and I will shout back at him and yell for him to stop, and to try to use that authoritarian method to stop him from doing what he was doing. Then I realized it's not very effective, because he will continue yelling. And his kind of stress response was to fight. If anybody yelled at him, he will yell back in defense. So I realized this was turning into a yelling game, and it was like a who can out yell who kind of situation, which was not effective. Furthermore, my yelling and that intensity in my emotions was feeding his emotions. So he was feeding off the kind of angry emotions I was getting, and he was also getting even more riled up from my anger. So I mentioned before that for me, I realized that calm breeds calm. It doesn't immediately work. He will not immediately quieten down and calm himself down. But eventually, when I am calm enough and I continue speaking to him in a neutral, calm but firm tone, he will eventually calm down. So during one of my postpartum days, when I was reading the book by Dr. Harvey Karp, The Happiest Baby in the Block, it was very insightful, and I really enjoyed his book. So I went on to read the other book that he wrote, The Happiest Toddler in the Block, when my older child went into that toddler stage, right? As he entered the terrible twos and those tantrums were getting very frequent, I turned to his book and I really liked what he mentioned in it. So one of the things that he said in his book, one of the methods he taught on how we can deal with our toddler's tantrums, was the fast food rule. So the fast food rule states that the hungrier person gets to talk first. So in this fast food rule applied to our children's tantrum situations, it's the angrier person gets to talk first. So when our children are having a meltdown, or they're having they're throwing a tantrum, they're feeling angry about something, they are the angrier person and they get to speak first. What situations might they not be the angrier person first? First of all, if they are endangering themselves. So if they are putting themselves in any real danger, they're like going for the kettle that was boiling on the stove, they're going for the knife, the parents obviously have to be the angrier person and say, stop, put that away, because this is a matter of life or death, and this is a matter of endangering themselves. The other situation is when they do not adhere to a rule. In other words, they have broken an important family rule. So first of all, you must have the rules to govern the parameters which your children can behave. And if they break that rule, that is when the parents can also take on the angrier person rule and say, okay, I understand that you're angry, but you broke an important rule, right? For example, if your child was disrespectful, pushed somebody, and spoke very rudely to a family member, okay, I get that you're angry, but you broke a rule, and in our house, we do not speak to people like that. Because of that, you have to blah, blah, blah. This is the consequence you have to bear. Okay, so these two situations allow for the parent to be the angrier person first, and they get to speak first. So when the child is having a meltdown or throwing a tantrum and they are the angrier person, they will shout first, right? And in the fast food environment, the person who is making the order will speak first. So example, just imagine yourself driving through a drive-through at a fast food restaurant, and you go, hello, I would like to have a cheeseburger, please. Imagine if the person who was taking your order said to you, oh, I think you need to have a fish burger. Oh no, can I have a cheeseburger, please? It looks like a fish burger is more suitable for you. No, but I feel like having a cheeseburger today. No, you can't have a cheeseburger. You will have a fish burger. So imagine if that happened to you, you would be like, what? Why doesn't this person get it? I don't care what you think I should have. I want to have a cheeseburger today, and that's what I'm going to get. Right? So same situation when your child is demanding something, they will likely want what they are demanding, right? I quote an example of my child. When one of those days during the terrible twos, he just really wanted yogurt, and it was a very weird time of the day that he wanted yogurt. You know, he woke up and first thing in the morning, he wanted yogurt, and he was already late for school, and I wanted him to go to school to have breakfast instead. So he was going on, I want yogurt, I want yogurt, I want yogurt. And in that situation, imagine I told him, Liam, you do not need a yogurt now. What you need to is to eat rice, or you need to eat bread. So that is not going to help him. It's probably going to cause him to escalate, because he's like, Mommy, you're not listening to me. I want a yogurt and I'm not getting it. Why are you telling me to have rice or bread? I don't want that. I want a yogurt. Okay, so first thing that you can do to stop a tantrum right where it is, or to prevent it from escalating into a full-on meltdown, is to echo them. So same thing in a fast food restaurant. Typically, if you give your order, the person at the counter will likely repeat your order, right? That's how you know that, yes, that's right, my order is correct, I need a cheeseburger. Then you'll proceed for payment. So if I say, I would like to have a cheeseburger, please, the person will say, okay, one cheeseburger with blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you get it. You got my order right. Okay, so same thing, yogurt situation. If he's going on, I want yogurt, what I can say to him is, oh, okay, Liam, you really want to have a yogurt, huh? You really enjoy your yogurt, don't you? So what I'm doing here is, first of all, I'm validating his feelings. I am not shutting it off without giving him a chance to express and telling him, no, you don't need this. What you need right now is blah, blah, and go into full-on prescription mode before I even hear him out. Okay, so first of all, I'm doing that. I'm validating his feelings. I am validating his request of demanding yogurt. Second of all, I'm echoing it. So when I echo it, I repeat that order, instantly in his brain, he's getting it. He's like, oh, okay, Mommy gets it that I want a yogurt. Mommy gets that she understood me correctly, that yogurt is what I want. So usually, most of the time, at least it works for me, my child will stop demanding it. He will simmer down a little bit and not be so insistent on that whole yogurt situation, right? He will likely calm down a little bit and not like, yeah, I really want a yogurt. And then I can proceed on to the next part about trying to use logical reasoning to explain to him why maybe at this point in time you can't have a yogurt. Okay, so once you've like calmed him down a little bit, then I can go on to say, okay, Liam, I really get that you want a yogurt, but we run out of yogurt at home and we need to go to the supermarket to buy it. It's not open yet, but in school they have bread. So why don't you have bread first? And when we come back home, I'll take you to the supermarket so that we can buy some yogurt. Okay, so this part, what I'm doing is I am now explaining to him why he can't have what he wants, but two, I am offering him an alternative. I'm letting him know that, hey, just because you can't have yogurt now doesn't mean that I'm not going to give you yogurt like ever. We can go to have the yogurt and here is when we can have it. So I'm giving him something predictable to look forward to, something that he can expect, and I'm letting him know when it's going to happen. So I'm assuring him that it will happen. Some children are okay with this alternative. They're okay, I can work with that, and they will stop the tantrum right there. Some children, like my older son, probably won't. So he's gonna like, no, I want yogurt now, I want yogurt now. So the next part I can do is try to distract him. I can distract him with maybe something else like, oh, you know, the other day, Mommy's friend gave me a very cute looking sunshine biscuit. I can give you a sunshine biscuit to try. Would you like to try the sunshine biscuit? And sometimes, more often than not, he'll be like, oh, okay, what's this sunshine biscuit thing? It sounds exciting, I want to try it. And that will take his attention away from the yogurt and the incessant demands of wanting yogurt. Sometimes, if he really wants something so badly, he will just go full on ballistic about it and he will accept nothing but this yogurt. And in times like that, it has already escalated to almost a meltdown. When it gets to that stage, sometimes the best way is to just let it run its course, let the anger run its course, and to let him just let out all those energy, that emotions before trying to approach him again with logic. So if in that situation he had gone on with the whole yogurt thing, I'm just going to say, okay, Liam, it looks like you really want yogurt, but you can't have it now. I see that you're really upset. How about I check in on you again 3 minutes later and see if you're ready to talk? And then just walk away from him, but don't close him in a corner. Don't shut the doors on him. Make sure he's still able to see you somewhat, but give him some space to release how all the anger that he's feeling. In the case of my child, when he's angry and when he's ashamed, most children tend to do that also. They would avoid eye contact. So he will literally go into a corner and just burrow himself in there and get upset, and he will, throw everything away. For him, he has a little chocho, and that is like his baby. He goes everywhere with it. So I use the chocho as an indicator, as a litmus test to see when he is ready to talk. When he is very upset, he does not want anybody or anything to be in that zone, that area that he is expressing those emotions. So nobody, not even anybody who he would usually be very happy to be with, can enter his zone at this point in time. And even the chocho, even if you offer him the chocho in this state, he will reject it. He will throw it away. So that's my indicator, because the chocho is his comfort, it's his security. So when he is ready to take it, that means that he has regained some part of his logical reasoning, that he's able to calm down a little bit and accept help, accept that olive branch. So I would offer the chocho, and if he's pushing it away, I'm like, okay, looks like you're not ready to talk. I'll come back in to check on you. So this requires a lot of patience, because you have to go in and out several times. Some days where the meltdowns are really bad, you might have to go on and on like this for like 30 minutes or so, every 3 minutes checking in on him. But if that's what it takes for the child to calm down, that's what it takes, because nothing you say at that point in time is going to be able to help that child calm down. Nothing you say. The worst thing that you can tell an angry child, or an angry person for that matter, is to calm down, right? So you can't just keep going to the child and say, stop it, calm down, calm yourself down. No way they can do that. The amygdala has already hijacked the brain. It has taken over. So nothing about reasoning, nothing much of your speech is getting into that child, right? Because they're already in a state like full-blown explosion. They're not going to be able to make sense of anything that you're saying. Okay, so after I've gone a few times in and out, 3 minutes, and I keep trying to offer the chocho, and eventually he takes it, that is my indicator. That is how I know that, okay, I think now he's more open and he would be accepting of me being in his presence in this moment. So once I offer him the chocho, he takes it and he clutches onto it. It's his security. It makes him feel better. It calms him down a little bit already. Then I would say, okay, Liam, do you want to come here and give mommy a hug? And sometimes he will say yes, and then he'll come into my embrace and he has calmed down. Then I can talk to him. I can say, Liam, I understand you really like yogurt. Yogurt is really yummy, right? I love yogurt too. I always have a yogurt after dinner. And remember, after dinner, mommy always gives you a yogurt too. But now it's not the time for yogurt, and now we don't have yogurt at home. But it's okay. And then you can go on and on about all the reasonings and then offer the alternative. Now, would you like to try the sunshine biscuit instead? Or would you like to go to school now and see whether they're having kaya bread today? That's your favorite, right? So you can go into all of that once the child has simmered down. Now, the thing to note when dealing with these incessant demands and tantrums is to never give in, or to, as much as possible, not give in to what they are asking for. Because that's just telling them that, oh, okay, if I yell loud enough, or if I have a big enough meltdown and tantrum, I eventually will get what I want. So that's not the message that we want to send to our children. As much as possible, do not give in to what they want to have, but rather you can offer alternatives, or you can meet somewhere in the middle. Let's say, if you're meeting somewhere in the middle, you can just say, okay, Liam, I see that you really want yogurt. You can have 2 spoons of yogurt, but after that you need to go have breakfast in school, because if you have too much yogurt, your stomach's going to get bloated and you're going to vomit everything out, okay? So you can meet somewhere in the middle. You can offer an alternative. You can compromise, but try as much as possible not to give in. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was addressing the no's. Children generally, or I think anyone generally, do not like to keep hearing no. Yet as parents, sometimes unconsciously we find ourselves constantly telling our children no. Because fair enough, we need to give them limits, boundaries, prevent them from getting themselves into danger and so on. So there are many occasions that we have to tell them, no, you can't do something. No, you can't have something. But imagine how this no is received, from by our children when we constantly tell them this. So imagine, right? You can just close your eyes for this also. If you keep hearing this sound, no, 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 no. How does that make you feel? I don't think you would feel very good about it, right? So it has quite a negative connotation, this word no. And it's the same way when children are asking for something and all they hear is no. It makes them upset. So they naturally would feel upset about it. So sometimes even though we need to tell them, no, you can't have something, we can try to rephrase it so that they don't hear no as often. I'm going to use the same yogurt example. So if he's saying that, I want yogurt, I really want yogurt right now, instead of saying, no, Liam, you can't have yogurt because too much yogurt is going to da-da-da-da. First, I validate his feelings, right? It's all about the feelings. I'm very big on the feelings thing. It makes him feel heard and understood. So I can say, yeah, oh, Liam, you really like yogurt. You really want a yogurt, is it? I get it. You can have a yogurt when you da-da-da-da. Right? You can have this, blah, 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 when you do this. Or, I know you really like it, but now is not the time, da, da, da. Instead, you can do this, your alternative, right? So they are hearing things that are more positive. You're letting them know that there's still something they can look forward to, even though they can't have it now, without them having to hear that clear out rejection word, no. Now, when I noticed my son getting angry, I observed how he behaves when he's feeling angry. And the last thing I want is for him to inflict harm on other people or on himself as a result of feeling angry. So I always tell him that it's okay if you feel angry about something, but it's not okay to hit people or to hit yourself when you're feeling angry. So feeling the emotion is not anything bad. I need to let him know that it's okay to feel that emotion, but it's not okay what you do if it's harmful as a result of feeling this emotion. So hitting people and hitting himself is a no-no. That's a big rule for me. And then I have to teach him how else then can you express your anger if you can't hit something or if you can't hit people. Because naturally, when there's a lot of energy, when our body goes into fight mode and when you're feeling angry, the stress response is fight, right? A lot of the energy goes to their hands and their legs, their limbs, right? To help us to just bolt and run and fight in defense. So you need to find a way to help them channel that energy to somewhere else, to redirect their energy in a different manner other than hitting people or hitting themselves. So what I have been trying and experimenting with is I tell him that, okay, I can see that you're really angry. And when you feel angry, you can clap your hands. So you can clap your hands when you feel angry. And you can tell mommy using words. You say, mommy, I'm angry. And you clap your hands. That's okay. If you're still feeling angry, you can stomp your feet. So if you're clapping your hands and you still feel angry, you can stomp your feet. Mommy, I'm upset. That's okay. Okay, you can also learn to huff and puff like a big dragon. So do you want to huff and puff like a big dragon with mommy? Okay, let's go. And I do this about 10 times and I ask him, do you feel better now? So as of now, because he's only just 3+, he takes this more as a game, right? So even sometimes when he's not really angry, he will say, mommy, I'm feeling angry. I want to huff and puff like a big dragon. And then we just do it for fun. And that's okay because as long as there is a habit of breathing, as he grows older, I can start to really teach him how to breathe properly and use breathing as a way of self-regulating. And I can really employ more of that deep breathing exercises that I do with my adult learners and with people that I coach. These are things that, of course, adults are able to do better and control, or older children are able to do better. But as young toddlers, to inculcate this in them early on is doing more help than harm. So I always tell him to clap hands, stomp your feet, or huff and puff like a dragon. Now, when your children are older, we can start to employ certain breathing techniques. And one of the common ones is the Take 5 breathing. So you have your hands up here like that, and you want to inhale as you go up to the tip of each finger. And once you're at the tip and you're coming down, you exhale. So you're going up and down like a valley, and up the mountain. And you inhale again as you go up the next finger. And once you're at the tip, you're coming down, you exhale. So this is actually encouraging deep breathing. So it's very conscious breathing where you are lengthening your exhales. And when you do that, you take deep breaths in and out, your body actually starts to calm down. So that's Take 5 breathing. You can also do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method of awareness and calming down. So the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method is you can do this when your children are older. When they feel angry, it's a form of redirection. Not so much distraction, but it's kind of getting your logical brain to consciously do something, to proactively do something so that it can regain control over your amygdala. So how this works is 5, right? So you start with 5. So you get your child to observe 5 things that they can see in this room around them. So for example, I can say, I can see the baby cot, I can see the wardrobe, I can see the laptop, I can see the table, I can see the stuffed toy bear. So 5 things you can see. So the next thing is to get them to identify 4 things they can hear in the room. So maybe I can hear the sound of the aircon, I can hear the sound of my own voice speaking, I can hear the sound of the toilet flushing outside, and I can hear the sound of the birds tweeting in the garden. So 4 things that they can hear. Then you get them to identify 3 things that they can touch in the room. So I can touch the smoothness of the mattress in the room, I can touch the coarseness of the mouse pad, and I can feel the cold touch of the books. So 3 things that you can touch. Now, then you get to 2 things. So get them to observe and identify 2 things that they can smell in this room. So I can smell the smell of my perfume on my clothes, and I can smell the fresh clothes of the new clothes that have just been washed and dried. Last of all, get them to identify 1 feeling that they feel now. So I am feeling hungry, or I am feeling calm, right? So that's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the objective of this is to get them to use their active brain, their logical brain, to regain control over their amygdala. So it's the same thing when you get them to think of 6 the birthdays of 6 friends or 6 different places they want to go to travel, right? So this is the same rationale. It's just getting your logical brain to do something proactively so that while you are doing that, you have actually regained control over the amygdala, and you're more likely able to be in a calm, rational state to then respond to your anger rather than react to the situation. So with young children, it can be quite challenging to help them make sense of their emotions because their vocabulary is limited, and a lot of the times they are not able to express what is it that they are feeling or the symptoms of what their emotions are at that point in time. So what really helped me, I got it from as a gift from a dear friend, and when I went to Google it, I realized so this is what it is. It's actually the hand to mind emotion sensory bottles. So I have them here with me now actually. So I found this very useful, and it was so timely because my toddler could really benefit from these emotion sensory bottles, and I use them often also when he goes into a state of anger or when he's feeling frustrated. So the whole box, the hand to mind emotion sensory bottles, comes with these 4 bottles that represents 4 of the common emotions that we feel. And what's interesting, you can see that they're in different colors and there are different types of liquid or different things in them. So the first one, happiness, right? So it's gold and it's glittery because this is usually how feeling happy makes you feel, right? You feel like there's a lot of glitter exploding all over you. So you can see that the glitter is like, just bursting everywhere in this gold, yellow colored bottle. Then the next one is sadness. So sadness here is a blue bottle and it looks almost like slime, just slowly coming down to the bottom of the bottle. And why it's like that, it's because sadness tends to be associated with a feeling of burden, of heaviness. So you almost feel like this liquid is like, burdening you. It's like slowing you down, it's weighing down on you, and it's just slowly like, coming down on you, right? So this is sadness, it's blue. Then there is fear. So fear, feeling afraid. This bottle is in green, and the liquid inside is almost like soap water. So if you just twirl it a little bit, you can observe that the liquid inside is like spiraling. It's almost like a tornado, it's a hurricane. And it describes in this box that fear, often has a feeling of helplessness, and it makes you dizzy. There's so much going on. It's like your world is spinning, and that's what the liquid inside is doing too. The last bottle here is anger, right? So I use this often recently when my older child always goes into a state of anger. So you can see with anger, right? When you turn it upside down, you see that all this little sand is going up instead. So it's almost like a volcano erupting with all that lava, right? Red lava coming out. So it feels like that when you're angry. It feels like you're exploding and there's a lot of anger bursting out of your head and going upwards, right? So this is anger, red for anger. How I have been using these bottles when my child gets upset is I obviously will take him to a room first where he's going to calm down, and I'm telling him, okay, I understand you look very angry right now. You can take a while and I will come and check back in with you. Okay, here are some bottles. You can go to these bottles, you can shake them. If there's fear in what you're feeling, you can shake them, or you can turn them upside down and you can just watch how the things inside move. Okay, you can just have fun with these bottles. You can hold them, you can turn them around, you can spin them. And while he's doing that, he's usually quite interested in these bottles because of the colors and because of what's inside. So he will take them and he will interact with them, and while he's doing so, he's actually also calming himself down already. And then when he's a little bit more calm and I can talk to him about his feelings, I'll go to him and say, can you pick out which of these bottles you think you are feeling right now? Is it angry, happy, sad, or scared? And then he will pick. Sometimes he picks out really whatever he's feeling, but sometimes he'll just pick out a random bottle which he likes now at that point in time. He'll just tell me, green bottle. I'll say, oh, okay, is it you're feeling scared right now, or are you feeling angry right now? And then he can tell me, he can articulate that emotion, and I can have a whole conversation with him about how he's feeling, how it makes him feel when he feels this way, and what he can do about it. Now, for older children, when they're able to identify and really pick out one of those bottles depending on what they are feeling, so accurately pick out fear when they feel fear, you can have a conversation with them about when they're feeling scared, what is going through their minds and their body when they feel scared. So for example, when you feel scared, do you feel like there's a tornado going on? Do you feel like your world is spinning like this bottle inside? Or do you feel cold, your hands feel cold, or your heart starts to race? So just getting them to say all these things, is building emotional literacy. It's helping them to see what the symptoms of the various emotions they feels like when it is being presented in their body. So this builds emotional literacy, this builds emotional awareness, and that is the foundation for how you can teach them to become aware of their emotions and to then manage their emotions more effectively the next time they feel them. I will always tell myself that if I'm not able to effectively calm myself down when he's like this, then I need to walk away temporarily. Sometimes that's the best course of action. Get your partner or the other parent who is in a calmer state of mind to come in and be with the child while you simmer down and calm yourself down before going in to engage your child again. Because an angry parent is not going to be effective in co-regulating an angry child. So now I've learned to step back, and even though all this yelling still makes me feel uncomfortable, I'm now better able to be at peace and not be affected by it because I have a compass on how I'm going to manage the anger. I'm not going to go down a downward spiral of yelling together with him. So this knowledge, all these tools help me communicate with him instead of just saying whatever comes to my mind because I'm angry, and whatever I'm saying is just explosive remarks rather than actual helpful rational communication with them. Thanks for tuning in to the Experimental Parent. Remember, we are all in this together. So if you have a story, topic suggestion, or feedback you'd like to share, we'd love to hear from you. You can DM me on the show's Instagram, The Experimental Parent, or leave a comment here. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to like or subscribe so you never miss out on future episodes. Your support means the world to us. So let us know, how was your experiment today?